Hi friends, welcome to the YouTube channel of ChemLover. So today we'll discuss lecture 3 of protection and deprotection. In this lecture we'll discuss protection and deprotection of carbonyl compounds via acetal formation. Particularly in today's lecture we'll see how acetals are formed from carbonyl compounds and how they are used, and what are the reagents that are used to deprotect it. This lecture is very important for the aspirants of CSR NET, GATE, MSc entrance and IIT JAM aspirants. Now let us start the topic. The topic is protection and deprotection of carbonyl compounds. So we have to discuss protection and deprotection of carbonyl compounds. Particularly we will discuss protection and deprotection of aldehydes and ketones in this case. Carbonyl compounds. So what is a carbonyl group? A carbonyl group is this group which bears C double bond O and we have two valencies. So we'll see how this carbonyl group it is protected and what are the reagents that are used to deprotect it. So actually protection of this carbonyl group it is brought about number first by diols. We can make use of diols. So over here we can have two types of diols. We can make use of 1,2 diol or we can make use of 1,3 diol. Later on we will see what is the function of 1,2 diols and what is the function of 1,3 diols. Number second is we can make use of alcohols. We can make use of alcohols to form esters. So the esters are formed. This is formation of esters. Esters are formed by diols, or they may be formed by alcohols. Number third is by making use of orthoester. By making use of orthoester. So these three reagents they will bring about the formation of esters. So esters are formed. So how the esters are formed from carbonyl compounds? By making use of diols, by making use of alcohols, by making use of orthoesters. Now let us see how esters are formed by diols and how this carbonyl group is protected. Now let me take a carbonyl compound. This is a carbonyl compound. Let me take a ketone over here. This is a carbonyl compound. This is my R1 and this is R. I'll treat this carbonyl compound with diol. So let me treat it with 1,2 diol. This is my 1,2 diol. This is my 1,2 diol. So what will happen in the first step, how this carbonyl group is protected and what are its applications, we'll see it. First we'll check the mechanism how it's protected. Now see, this bond is polar bond, it will break towards oxygen and this oxygen atom will abstract the proton. It will abstract to the proton. Once it abstracts to the proton, this bond breaks towards oxygen. We get O minus over here. So what we are going to get? We get R, OH and we have R dash group over here. This is R dash and we have a positive charge over here. Since it is polar in nature, this bond breaks, it becomes polar in nature. So this becomes del plus. Plus we treat it with this compound, that's O minus, that's 1,2 diol, anion of 1,2 diol. Now what will happen? This negatively charged oxygen, it will act as a nucleophile and will attack on this carbon. So once it attacks this carbon, what we are going to get are, we have R dash group over here, we have OH group over here, and then the attack of oxygen takes place. This is the attack of oxygen atom. Then we have carbon 1, carbon 2, this is carbon 1, this is carbon 2, and then again we have OH. Now what will happen in the next step? In the next step, the lone pair of electrons on this oxygen atom, they will abstract to this proton and this oxygen becomes negatively charged. So over here what we are going to get, this is R dash, or here we have OH2 because lone pair attack is, therefore positive charge is created over here. So we have oxygen atom and we have diol, this diol contains O minus. Now what will happen, this water will act as a good leaving group and this O minus will attack over here and this carbonyl group gets protected. Now see how the carbonyl group gets protected. Over here we have oxygen atom, then we have two carbon atoms, then we have one more oxygen atom, it attacks on this carbon. So hence this carbonyl group which was originally present over here, it gets protected. Now we have protected the carbonyl group by making use of 1,2 diols, or we can make use of 1,3 diols. Now what can we see over here? When we have 1,2 diols, this is a 1,2 diol. When we have 1,2 diols, then formation of 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 membered ring takes place. So 5 membered ring is formed. 5 membered ring is formed. This is 5 membered ring. But in case we have one 3-diol, then a 6 membered ring will be formed. So let us see how the 6 membered ring is formed. In case we have one 3-diol, then 6 membered ring is formed. So this is my carbonyl group. I have to protect this group. I'll make use of one 3-diol. So let me make use of one 3-diol. This is one 3-diol. I can see 1, 2, and 3. This is one 3-diol. 1, 2, and 3. This is one 3-diol. So once we have one 3-diol, what happens? Again, this group will be protected. This C double bond O group will leave as we have seen in the mechanism. Now I will not draw mechanism again. Now it will leave. We have O atom attached over here and O atom attached over here. Between these two oxygen atoms, we have 3 carbon atoms. So we will have one carbon atom, second carbon atom, third carbon atom. So over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 membered ring is formed. 6 membered ring is formed. So directly in the examination, the question will be, there will be a 5 membered ring and there will be a 6 membered ring. So if you know it's a 1,2-diol, then a 5 membered ring will be formed and a 1,3-diol will give a 6 membered ring. So this is called a 1,3-dioxyline. This is called 1,3-dioxyline. And over here, I had discussed it in the last page, 1,2-diol that results in the formation of 5 membered ring. So this is a 5 membered ring. This is called 1,2-dioxyline. Now what will happen? This is how we have protected this group. But if what will happen if we want to deprotect? How we can deprotect it? Deprotection of these dioxyliners, it is brought about by deprotection is of dioxyliners. It is brought about by cleavage of this dioxyline. It is brought about by simply or by water in TSOH, tosyl hydroxide. So you can use water in tosyl hydroxide or you can use acidic condition or H plus N tosyl hydroxide. This brings about deprotection. Now this brings about cleavage of this diol. So once you treat this diol or this diol, this dioxyline or this dioxyline with water, H plus N water in acidic conditions, you will get original ketone back. You will get original ketone back. This is how cleavage takes place. Now what is the order of cleavage? The question is the order of cleavage. Order of cleavage of dioxyline, or this is called ester. This is also called ester. Order of cleavage of dioxyline. Now you can see over here that this is very important. The order is 6 membered dioxyliners, that's 1,3-dioxyline. Let me draw it. This is 1,3-dioxyline. So whenever we have 1,3-dioxyline, a 6 membered ring will be formed. Now this is my 6 membered ring. Its cleavage is, its magnitude of cleavage is greater than that of a 5 membered dioxyline. Now this is my 5 membered dioxyline. Cleavage of 6 membered, that's 1,3-dioxyline, it is greater than that of 1,2-dioxyline. So 1,3-dioxyliners are cleaved more readily than that of 1,2-dioxyliners. So this becomes very important. 1,3-dioxyliners are cleaved more readily than that of 1,2-dioxyliners, which are cleaved more readily than that of, or we can take the next order. Now let us take the next order. So the next order is relative cleavage of 1,3-dioxylines. This is very important from competitive exam point of view. Relative cleavage of 1,3-dioxylines. Question may be directly asked. Relative cleavage of 1,3-dioxylines. So I have a number of 1,3-dioxylines over here. This R group, let it say above the plane, and let this R group is below the plane. And I have a 1,3-dioxyline. 1,3 means we have one carbon atom, second carbon atom, and third carbon atom. This is 1,3-dioxyline. And on this carbon atom, I have, this is my 1,3-dioxyline. On this carbon atom, I have different groups attached. Let I have methyl group attached. and over here I have methyl group attached. This is a bulky one. This carbon is sterically more hindered dioxylenous. They are cleaved readily as compared to less hindered dioxylen. Means this dioxylen it's cleaved readily compared to this dioxylen. This dioxylen it is cleaved more readily compared to this dioxylen. So over here I have methyl group and I have hydrogen. This is again 1,3 dioxylen, but it is less hindered compared to the first case. Now it is more readily cleaved compared to this one. This group is below the plane. So over here I have hydrogen and I have hydrogen. So this is the order of relative cleavage. So we can say relative cleavage is directly proportional to the steric hindrance. So we can write down the relative cleavage of dioxylenous is directly proportional to steric hindrance. It is directly proportional to steric hindrance. So where there is more steric hindrance, the more easily it can be cleaved. So this was very important point. So up till now we have studied how these carbonyl compounds, particularly aldehydes and ketones, they can be protected by making use of diols. for example, if I take this type of question, I have this type of compound. In this compound, I have two functional groups. Now this is my carbonyl group, this is a keto group, and this is an ester group. Now if I treat this with a reagent like this pH MgBr, that is Grignard reagent. So where the Grignard reagent will attack? Grignard reagent can attack on this carbonyl group, carbonyl carbon, or it can attack on this carbonyl carbon. Now if I treat over here, if I take one more reagent, if I treat it with one more reagent, that is this type of compound, that's 1,2-diol, then what will happen? First, this 1,2-diol, it is used as a protecting agent for aldehydes and ketones. Now this is my ester, therefore I can protect this carbonyl carbon, that's keto carbon. I can protect this ketone group first, then I can bring about the reaction at this carbon center. Otherwise, the rate of reactivity of this is more. We will see later on the order of reactivity. I will show you the order of reactivity. So over here, the order of reactivity of keto group it is more than that of ester group when reacted with a nucleophile. In Grignard reagent, the pH is a nucleophile. But what I have done, I have treated in the first step it with ethylene glycol, that's 1,2-diol. Now what is the function of 1,2-diol? 1,2-diol will protect my ketone, and so that I can easily bring about reaction at this ester carbonyl compound. So what will happen? So this carbon will be protected since it's a 1,2-diol, so 5-membered ring will be formed. So I have protected this keto group. Now the reaction will not take place at this carbon. Reaction will take place at this carbon. So what will happen? Now it can react with Grignard reagent. So Grignard reagent is pH minus. So this is my pH minus. Magnesium is a metal, therefore electrons can break towards pH, and we have MgBr. So what will happen? This will attack this carbonyl carbon, and this bond will break. This will attack our magnesium, followed by hydrolysis. In the third step, we will be hydrolyzing it. So followed by hydrolysis, what will we get? We get this type of compound. This is already protected. Reaction cannot take place over here. So over here, after hydrolysis, it will become OH. So over here, what has attacked? pH has attacked, and we have OET group. Now we have plenty of this Grignard reagent over here. We have again pH minus from Grignard reagent obtained from pH MgBr. So what will happen? Since this OET is a very good leaving group, now it will leave, and this pH will again attack. Second molecule of pH will attack. Once the second molecule of pH attacks, so what we are going to get? We'll get this type of compound. So over here we have OH, and then we have pH, and then we have pH. So this will be the product. After obtaining the product, after bringing about the reaction at this carbonyl carbon, we can deprotect it. Now its deprotection is brought about by SOH, water in acidic condition. So what will happen? It will be deprotected, we'll get ketone back and we'll get the desired product. This is the desired product. So this is why protection and deprotection is important when coming to the reactivity of a particular selectivity, reactivity of a particular functional group. Now let us take few more examples. Let me have this type of example. Let me have this type of example. This is again a very good question. Let me have this type of question. So this is my OH, its equatorial position, and this is my OH, its in axial position. Now see what can happen over here. Now, since it's a 1,2 diol, it's a 1,2 diol. If I treat with a carbonyl compound, if I treat with a carbonyl compound, let the carbonyl compound is this one. This is my carbonyl compound. So, what will be the product? So, the product will be, since it's 1 and 2, this is 1,2 diol. So, the formation of 5-membered ring will take place. So, how the formation of 5-membered ring will take place? Directly we can do it. Since we have seen the mechanism, we can directly do it. How the 5-membered ring will take place? So this is my oxygen atom and this is my oxygen atom. This carbon C double bond O will be lost. They will attack carbon and this carbon will be attached to R and R. So this is how 5-membered ring 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-membered ring will be formed. Had it been 1,3 diol, for example, let me take 1,3 diol. Had it been 1,3 diol, let me take 1,3 diol over here. So this is my OH and I'll take 1,3 diol. So I'll take CH2OH. Now see what type of diol it is. This is 1, this is carbon 2, this is 3. So this is 1,3 diol. If I treat it with a carbonyl compound, so this is R, this is C double bond O and this is R. So what will happen? Since it's a 1,3 diol, therefore 6-membered ring formation will take place. 6-membered rings exist in the form of cyclic structure, that is this chair form. So I'll get two types of chair form structure. This is the first one. So over here I have oxygen atom, over here I have CH2, then I have oxygen atom. I drawn it incorrectly. Let me draw it again. So this is carbon 1, this is carbon 2, this is carbon 3, then again I have oxygen atom. Then these will attack carbon, these will attack carbon, so this will attack carbon and since and this again will attack carbon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This again will attack carbon. So this is 6-membered ring and over here we have R group attached, R group attached. So over here we have formed 1,3 dioxide. So this is how you can come out with the mechanism of the reaction and the protection and deprotection by 1,2 diol. Let's have a question based on this phenomenon. So this is again a very important question. Now over here you can see a chair form of this cyclohexane. Over here we have OMe group attached. We have OH group attached. We have OH group attached. Now you can see this is carbon 1, this is carbon 2. So clearly it's 1,2 diol. Since it is 1,2 diol, therefore a 5-membered ring will be formed. So in the question, in the answers, we will see a 5-membered ring. Over here, no 5-membered ring is formed. This cannot be the answer. Over here, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Since it is not 1,3 diol, therefore this cannot be the answer. Over here, you can see between these two atoms, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5-membered ring is formed. Therefore, this is the correct answer. Over here, a reaction has taken place between this equatorial OH and this is axial bond and this equatorial. Equatorial reaction is not favorable. Therefore, reaction between these two is more favorable. Stereochemically, it is more favorable. Now, how stereochemically it is more favorable, we'll discuss. Once we'll discuss conformation of cyclohexane, there I'll discuss why this is not favorable, why this is favorable. So directly you can count out this is the correct answer. Now let us take this type of question. This is a very important question. In the first step, this is my compound. Over here we have ester group. Over here we have OH. It is treated with hydrogen and nickel. That's Rani nickel. This is called a Rani nickel. This is called a Rani nickel. You can directly remember Rani. So it is Rani. So we are using Rani over here. It's Rani nickel. So what is the function of Rani nickel? Rani nickel. The function of Rani nickel is to bring about the reduction of this benzene ring. So in the first step, what will happen? Reduction of benzene ring will take place. So I treated this compound with H2Ni. So what will happen? Reduction of this benzene ring, reduction of these double bonds will take place. So basically we get CO2 ETOR. Now in the second step, it is treated with K2Cr2O7. Now what is the function of K2Cr2O7? K2Cr2O7 converts this OH group into ketonic group. Means secondary alcohol will be oxidized to ketone. So we are getting this type of product, that's ketonic group over here and CO2 ET. Now in the third step, reaction is treated with lithium aluminum hydrate. Lithium aluminum hydrate is a reducing agent. It can bring about the reduction of this carbonyl group, that's ketonic group, and it will bring about the reduction of this ester. Now what do we want? We want the reduction of this ester and not that of the ketonic group. That's why it has been treated with 1,2-diol. So what will be the function of 1,2-diol? The function of 1,2-diol will be to protect this ketonic group. So this ketonic group is protected. Since it's 1,2-diol, therefore a 5-membered ring will be formed. So 5-membered ring will be formed over here. So it has been protected. Now once it is protected, then we can bring the reaction with lithium aluminum hydrate. And the next step, reaction is carried out with lithium aluminum hydrate. Now what is the function of lithium aluminum hydrate? It brings about the reduction of this ester group. Since reduction of ester by lithium aluminum hydrate, it's converted into alcohol. So first it will be converted into aldehyde, then it is converted into alcohol. In the last step, it will be converted into alcohol. So this is alcohol. Now it is treated with this water. So what is the function of this water? That's H3O plus, that's H plus acidic condition. What is the function? Its function is to deprotect it. So it is deprotected, we get again back. So that's why this is again a very important question. Hope this question may be asked in near future. So let me take this type of question. This is again a very important question. So this question contains protection of alcohols as well. So over here I have an epoxide and I have OH group over here. This is cyclohexanol and we have an epoxide over here. This is below the plane and this is again below the plane. Now in the first step, base is given, NaH. Metal hydrides are strong bases, they are good bases. So base is given. What is the function of the base? Base will abstract the proton. So this is the proton which will be abstracted. That's acidic proton. So what we are going to get? We get O minus and we have epoxide over here. And the second step, it is treated with BNBR. As I have discussed it in protection and deprotection lecture first. And the function of BN, the function of BNBR is to protect this alcoholic group. What is BNBR? It is our this. So I can write BNBR like this: pH CH2Br. So this group is BN group. This group is actually BN group. So it's called a BNBR. So what will happen? This O minus will attack on this carbon because Br is a good leaving group. So what I am going to get? So I'll get over here OBN. Now this BN is a very bulky group. It's a benzene ring. It's a very bulky group. Now this alcohol has been protected by this BN. Over here I have epoxide which is below the plane. And the next step, it is treated with MEOH. What is the function of MEOH? MEOH will provide me OMe minus. Now this OMe minus attacks this epoxide ring will break. Now how does this epoxide ring breaks? The epoxide ring, this OMe will attack. Since this is below the plane, this is below the plane, the bulky group is below the plane, therefore this epoxide will attack this OMe, it will attack above the plane. Sorry, it will attack above the plane. So once it attacks above the plane, that's why the stereochemistry over here is above the plane, because the larger group is below the plane. Therefore, OMe will attack above the plane. Now this is my OMe which attacks above. Now in the next step, what is given? We are given TBS here. That's tertiary butyl silyl chloride. Now this is again a protecting reagent for alcohols for a secondary alcohol. So over here this OH will be protected. And we are given a base. What is the function of this base? This base will abstract a proton, will get O minus. O minus will attack silicon atom, so we'll get OTBS. So this oxygen atom gets protected, we'll get OTBS. That's why protection and deprotection, again I am speaking about this. It's very, very important. So we have OTBS, it has been protected, and we have OMB over here, which is above the flag. And the fourth step, it is treated with hydrogen supported or palladium supported carbon. What is the function of this reagent? The function of this reagent is to deprotect Bn. So it is treated with H2PDC. H2PDC deprotects this Bn, so we can get OH back. It does not deprotect OTBS. That's why OTBS is over here. It is not deprotected. The OTBS is deprotected by TBAF. So we have OH which comes back, and over here we have OTBS. Over here we have OTBS, and we have OM. Now in the last step, it is treated with PCC. What is the function of PCC? It converts OH group into aldehyde or ketone group. So this is a secondary alcoholic group. It will get converted into ketone. That's why we have a ketone group over here. So this is how questions can be framed based on this concept. This is again very, very important. So what is the order of reactivity? What is the order of reactivity? So let me write order of reactivity of carbonyl compounds towards ester formation. What is the order of reactivity of carbonyl compounds towards ester formation? So the order is like this: aldehydes, they are more reactive towards ester formation. They form esters readily. Means the reactivity with diols. Since in this lecture I had discussed on the diols, they react with diols readily compared to that of ketones. Then we have ketones. Then we have cyclohexanone. Cyclohexanones, that's ketones, cyclic ketones. Then we have cyclopentanone. This is the order of reactivity of carbonyl, only aldehydes and ketones. The order of reactivity of aldehydes and ketones. First, aldehyde is more reactive. It reacts with 1,2-diol or 1,3-diol readily compared to that of ketone. Then cyclohexanone reacts readily compared to that of cyclopentanone. And then alpha beta unsaturated ketones. Now this is my alpha beta unsaturated ketone. Now see, this is alpha, this is beta. That's why it's called alpha beta unsaturated ketone. This is the order of reactivity. Hope you might have enjoyed this lecture. In the next lecture, we will again discuss protection and deprotection of these carbonyl compounds by formation of orthoesters and by the reaction with alcohols, that's formation of again esters. Thank you for watching this lecture, and thanks for being with me.